you don't come around. Miss me with the bullshit. Miss me with the how you been. Stop saying that you miss me. It's not making plans if you don't go through with it. Your words are empty. What you say you don't really mean. Got me feeling crazy. Always saying that you miss me. I get drunk on being petty, but the way you flake drives me insane. I don't think you'll ever be ready to see the parts of you that need to change. You don't give, but you love to take. You love dimming me out, being plastic and being fake.
Hey guys, Matt here from Underground Experience, and today I'm interviewing Dev Papadol of the band Honey Revenge. Hi.
Hello, how's it
How's
going?
your day going?
Oh, great. How about you?
I'm doing really well myself. That's awesome. Yeah.
You look like you're in the coolest spot ever. I can't
I
get
know,
over it.
it's fun. Florida is a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm enjoying it while I'm here. For
Yeah,
sure.
I'm
for sure.
jealous.
Yeah, I do like your lost the battle of what's it say? Lost the battle?
Lost the battle, win the war.
That's really cool. I love this sentiment. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
Tapestry.
Paramore. Can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So first thing I'm gonna ask you about is Miss Me. What was kind of the that's your big single out right now. It has a lot of plays on Spotify, which is really cool to see. And I personally really liked it. It's kind of like it's real. I'll let you explain, not me. But how would you really like how would you say the creativity process behind that went, or like the creation process behind that song?
So it's kind of a funny story how Miss Me came to be. I wrote that song a long time ago for another band that I was in before, and it kind of just bled into this new project. And it started when an old friend of mine hit me up. His name's Josh Strock. He also goes by KJ. He was in a band back in the day called The White Noise, and he produces for a lot of really great artists. Right now, he works with Lil Lotus and Crown the Empire and all sorts of cool bands in the scene. And he hit me up just being like, do you want to write some songs? And I already had Miss Me. And what it was originally was kind of this like more pop punk driven, like uppity sound. Cause again, it was for another project. And then we brought it to him and he really just like breathed the new life into it and really gave it the vision that I was kind of seeing in my head, which is, it's almost like a sarcastic song, which I really like because I find myself to be very sarcastic.
Not a bad thing to be. That's awesome.
No, it's usually good. But I that's what we were going for, was kind of this very riff driven song, but still like a melody that gets stuck in your head and like stays with you. And the message is just kind of like miss me with the bullshit. You know what I mean? It's this just not taking anyone's, you know, mistreatment and bad friendship. And I think it really came out in the best way possible, which is, like I said, like a little kind of sarcastic and a little passive aggressive. I'm really happy with how it came out and how it's being received.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it too. It's an amazing song. And I think that's a really cool message. I think that it's very literal in the context of the words, but that's because of that, it's very powerful. Like it's almost like this anthem kind of like, I don't really care about your bullshit. Like you can just fuck off. Like, you know, just like, it's just, I like that attitude, and it's very punk, and that's kind of the attitude I like to have. So I think it's cool that you incorporated kind of like a lot of punk attitude into something that's more poppy in nature, because I think that's I just think that's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So if you're new band members, how would you say everything's blending together? Is everything coming together well? Is there any problems, or is it just like really cool to see that you guys have a flow to it?
It's really easy. I mean, I like that there's not a lot of us in the band. It's also kind of cool to like be collaborating with other producers and other writers. We've written a couple songs with good friends. We've just had some fun one-off studio sessions just to get the creative juices flowing. So it's really cool. It's a different environment than it was that I'm used to, because obviously COVID and stuff, and just finding new ways to adapt. But it's all come pretty naturally. I really enjoy just writing and being creative and not necessarily doing it for any specific reason, versus like trying to write specifically for a goal. I feel like it gets in the way of the creativity when you're like too driven on something. It's kind of nice.
For sure. I can relate to that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to kind of like, as much as you need to have that goal to keep you going, you need to allow yourself the freedom to do other things, because a lot of times those things end up inspiring you towards your goal. That's what I figured. That's what, like, at least with writing, because I do some writing sometimes, and that kind of is what I find.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen,
My next question is kind of going into what you're just talking about COVID. You guys kind of really emerged as the pandemic was slowing down, even though now it's speeding up again. But you guys kind of emerged right at this nice sweet spot where like things were kind of open. We thought everything was okay, and things are still getting better as we speak. But I mean, I think that how has that affected you guys as a band? Like, have you guys like coming out of the pandemic, like, did that give you guys a lot of time to do creative stuff, or is it you know what I'm saying?
yeah, totally. I think I really got used to this rehearsing all the time, playing shows all the time, this kind of fast-paced thing. And as sad as it was for the pandemic to happen and to take us out of that environment, it was important, I think, to the development of Honey Revenge and the creation and launching of the project, because it forced me to like really have an idea and like plan everything out and like sit back and be like, what do I want people to perceive us as? How do I want people to feel when they listen to my music? Like, I'd never really had those deep, insightful questions because life was always moving so quickly.
Mhm.
And I think the pandemic, as much as I am not a fan, also
Not a
kind
fan, really.
yeah, it had me reevaluate how I wanted to be as an artist and how I wanted this project to come out. And it's really been well thought out. And I think Miss Me was like the most I've ever thought about anything musically that I've done ever. And I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to how it's going to force us to adapt, like whether it's our online presence or how we start playing shows and the opportunities we get through this online presence that we have. So it's just an adaptation more than anything.
Yeah, I got you. And I think that reflection period is extremely important, not just for artists, but for people. Because if we don't do any reflecting, we're just constantly doing. And a lot of times we just get stuck in old habits, whether they're good or bad. So I think
Mhm.
that reflection period is extremely important for just, especially for artists, because when you're creating something, you need to kind of take a step back, look at the criticism, look at your own work and say, like, does this really represent me? So yeah. And going back to what you're talking about with the perception, how do you want people to perceive Honey Revenge and their music?
Well, I like to say we're pop rock because I really think that that's a great way to explain it. Because I am first and foremost, I'm a rock fan. Like
Yeah,
that's what I love deep in my heart. Is
I
I
really
love
love here underground. Yeah.
I love like just like fast drums and like really feeling the music. But I also find myself to be more of a songwriter. I don't play any instruments,
Mhm.
and when I discovered music, it was through pop radio and just
Yeah.
like club hits and like what's going to get stuck in their head. For me, I'm very melodically driven. I write lyrics and melody first, and then we usually build around that. And I find that that's the cool thing about us is I'm not necessarily looking to be technical. I'm looking for something that's going to be relatable to the listener, whether that's something they can sing along to or lyrics that mean something to them. And I never really want people to be able to guess how we're going to sound next. I want it to just sound like Honey Revenge, but not necessarily be predictable
I
in
got
that
it.
way. I love that I'm a fan of multiple different sides of the rock scene and all different
Yeah.
corners.
There's so
And
many
I,
cool different subgenres and stuff. So I think if
yeah,
you can represent them all, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
and I know we were talking about this earlier. I know genres can sometimes limit music, but I think they can also just like expand people's horizons.
Yeah,
And I
for
want to
sure.
feel like I'm introducing people to new music. That's a huge thing, is I love to support smaller artists and
Yeah,
maybe
same.
bands and creators that people wouldn't have heard about otherwise. So I think that's one thing I like is that the networking from us is I want people to feel like they're being introduced to something they might not have listened to otherwise.
That's really cool. Yeah. I think that the genre bending kind of um path you're talking about is a really cool path to walk, because sometimes you want to have a distinctive sound, because then you have fans that love that sound. But at the same time, if you were able to go into multiple genres, you'll probably find something everyone could like. And that's a really cool aspect of your music. I
Exactly.
think that will come out.
And to piggyback off of that, I feel like people and mostly musicians run into this problem where they develop a certain sound in the beginning and then people cling on to that and they have a hard time when the artist starts releasing something that's a little more mature, a little different. And so what I kind of want is that's going to happen regardless. People are always going to feel that way about their favorite artist because they are passionate about it. But
Yeah.
I guess for me, that's what I want for Honey Revenge, is to feel like we give them a lot of different things so they can't really hold us to any specific.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love to see that because that just sounds so unique, and new things are awesome. So I think that's really cool.
Thanks.
Where does the name Honey Revenge come from? I'm really curious.
Yeah, that's a question we get a lot. Honey Revenge is actually a song by one of my favorite bands, Dance Gavin Dance.
Oh, okay.
I discovered them when I was like 14 years old, very into metalcore, was like my first love.
Wow.
And they're a massive band, and I think I love them specifically because they've really created their own sort of scene within the scene. Like there's a whole genre, swancore. They have their own festival, Swan Fest. And even though I don't necessarily think we sound like them particularly that much, I think
The idea is the same. The idea is the
I
same.
draw a lot of influence in the way that they kind of like not genre bend, but have created a name for themselves in a way that so many bands have taken influence from. Honey Revenge was off the album Acceptance Speech, which is the first album by them that I ever listened to. So it also kind of holds a special place in my heart. And it was more just like a cool name. We were thinking about names for months and months. We spent like hours and hours on the calls with managers and friends just trying to brainstorm names. And that name kind of just came, and it was like felt right because I think pop rock as a whole, like I said, has this spectrum of like melody and sweetness and catchiness and like something like, you know, familiar, whereas Revenge is kind of this more rock, intense, angry thing. And I definitely feel like I can harness both when I make music and take my like vulnerable feelings and show that I'm angry, but I'm also sweet and feminine, but femininity can also be this powerful thing, you know?
Of course, for sure.
That's where Honey Revenge, like as much as it is a band that I love song, it's also something I can really relate to and put into art, which is a spectrum of what I am, which is sweet and feminine and gentle, but also tough and violent and angry.
I love it. That's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's really cool. I think even in the logo, I think there's not a bee, but there's like honey, but like I think back to like bees, and they're kind of like really like soft and like kind of cute sometimes, but like they could also really sting you. So it's kind of that same kind of aspect of like this like soft exterior, but like this hard inside. And I think that's a really cool just a really cool way to, I feel like you really have an image of what you want this band to be, which doesn't have to be like one thing. It could be like multiple things, but you really have like an image for like how you want to be perceived. And I think that's a really cool thing because sometimes bands don't think that through. So,
and we're just getting started, you know, like there's so much that can come from it. But like you said, I feel like there is a foundation there for a lot of different things to come from it. And like you said, bees they literally help the environment so much, like pollination and everything. But then at the same time, like you don't want to get stung by one.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's this kind of like metaphor in it also of like bees sting you and then they die.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like just gonna let that sit where it is. Cause like I definitely find I can relate because like sometimes I speak my mind and do things and then it ends up just hurting me and causing me more pain. So that's something I really like to visit and adventure with the music as well.
Very cool. Very cool. My next question is, what are some challenges, if any, of being a female fronted band in the scene? Is there any challenges that come with that, or?
I think it's just getting pigeonholed and also like being just thrown in with artists that I don't think we sound very much like, but just because I'm a girl fronting a band, female fronted isn't a genre.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a genre. It's just a thing that happens.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of a catch-22 because I want more exposure for people like me and artists like me, but I also just wanted to be equal playing field. And it's like, sometimes I feel like we get things because I'm a girl fronting a band, and sometimes I feel like we don't get things because I don't fit this mold that people have and this idea people have for what I'm supposed to be and how music in this scene is supposed to be. So it's every day it's different. Like sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you use it to your advantage to get the opportunities you want. And sometimes you just get blown off a little bit. And it's hard also because like we are a very new band. We have one song out.
Yeah.
And it's, I think the problem just in general is like feeling like we have this catalog of songs no one's heard that are like still not released and in the works, and all this work being poured into this project, but like we're only recognized for this one song and these little bit of time that we've been publicly out as a band.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah. I think it's really cool having a female fronted band. Like, I just think that's really cool. Pretty punk. And
I just didn't have a lot of, I feel like, people I looked up to growing up that were doing what I'm doing.
yeah.
And I really wish I did. Like, obviously Paramore is a huge influence, but it's
But
also,
I know that you don't like that comparison at all, because like it creates that genre of female fronted bands instead of you guys being your own thing.
and it's again a catch-22 because like what an honor, because Hayley Williams is
Yeah,
like,
Hayley Williams is awesome.
she is God to me. And
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everything I ever wanted as a kid. And but also I can only imagine the immense pressure that she felt as a woman in music and being one of the few in this scene, like this pressure on her shoulders, like I can only imagine. So it's like, it's just hard. It's hard to respond because it is a catch-22 of like
Yeah.
a compliment, but also it's unoriginal a little bit, you know?
Thank you for doing your best to explain that.
Yeah.
My next question is has to do with future plans. I know you can't reveal like a lot. You're probably not going to reveal a lot of stuff, but because you're an artist, and yeah. But what are some things that you guys are working on, or want to know your fans that you're working on or planning?
I think we're just kind of trying to test the waters right now. We have a song that's going to go into mixing stages soon that I've been teasing on our TikTok a little bit. We really have utilized TikTok, and I think that took a big influence in the Miss Me music video, was the transitions and just like the quick attention span and the colors and the aesthetic that has come from this kind of quick, fast, short attention span culture of TikTok.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Doc Martens on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I've seen that on TikTok so many times. I was like, whoa, that was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I really try, because that's where we've been utilizing our audience and like really promoting the last year, because it's really the best marketing strategy right now. And the algorithm really feeds into young artists and vulnerability and sharing new art. So I think I've just been testing the waters. I might tease a couple more songs. I don't know. The plan right now is just to work on this next song and getting the vision ready. We might have a show or two coming up. We'll see. You know,
Awesome.
it's with the pandemic, things are a little bit uncertain. Opportunities come and then go because of it. But I really would love to see us touring in the next year and getting outside of
Really
LA,
cool.
because I feel like I have friends all over the country, and we have so many bands that we're friends with that we've really connected with, especially since Miss Me has come out.
Yeah,
I'd love to gig with and support as well. So
I think it's really cool of you that you like to support other people in your industry. And I'm not that I wouldn't expect people to do that, but it's just a really cool thing that you do actively do that. I think it's really cool.
thank you. Yeah, I think there's not enough of a scene out in LA because it's kind of a melting pot and everyone is doing different things. And I'd really love to find more bands that I think fit in with what we play to put on shows with. Like something I took a lot of pride in with my old band was I booked our entire first tour pretty much by myself. I found every band for every lineup. I routed the whole thing. I found the venues, and it was something I didn't expect to enjoy as much as it is stressful. It is like a really cool outlet to be creating shows and kind of putting
Yeah,
them on myself.
that'd be my dream to do that. Like just creating show lineups. I feel like that'd be so cool.
Yeah. And I did it with our like old band, and I'd love to do it with this band, is just kind of putting shows together and creating this community that I feel like is lacking out here. But
That was
just-
actually going to be my next question. How do you feel about the LA scene, or how do you feel that you could play a part into the LA scene and creating more of a scene?
it's a love-hate relationship for sure, and I can't like pretend it isn't, because I just wish there was more opportunity for all ages shows, because as awesome as music is thriving, and I feel like LA is the place to be in music, it's a lot of clubs, it's a lot of 21 plus. And for like our guitarist Donovan, he's 19. And
Oh
he's a
wow,
wizard.
I'm 19.
But
So that's crazy.
I want to feel like he can be included in the after show and like getting to interact with everyone. But like a lot of these venues, you get kind of booted afterwards if you're not of age. And I also feel like our fan base, we have a lot of young people that are really into the music. And I'd love to see more house shows. I'd love to see more small businesses putting on shows. I think there's a couple coming out of the pandemic that are really awesome.
Nice.
And I'd really just love to see more networking and more opportunities for artists to come together and create stuff together.
Cool. That's really cool. All right, my next question is, with your old band, I remember watching footage, and one of my favorite parts about that was how electric you guys were. Like you guys were so involved with the crowd was so involved with you. You're doing like flips and stuff, if I remember correctly. Like, do you plan on keeping that kind of attitude for your for Honey Revenge?
Absolutely. And I think that's what's been lacking deep down in my soul with this band so far, is just like, first and foremost, I am a performer. Like, I love writing and I love putting on music videos and I love social media and I love connecting with people through it. But my biggest thing is connecting with people in person and live. And we have a lot of songs that are super energetic and very fun and crowd interacting, but just kind of waiting for the right moment. We did get to play one show back in December. It was an awesome little DIY fest, but it was not in our home city. You know, I'd love to do something where all of our friends and family can come together and we can really just party. Because that's what I love to do, is to connect with people through live music. And yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out how I'm going to incorporate all my little gymnastics moves into this music.
I just think it's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing I'm missing right now, and is sad. Out of all the great, happy things that are going on, is I just feel like the one thing I was put on this planet to do was to perform.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting that right now.
You're still hoping that comes soon. You're still
hoping, right? Yeah.
For sure.
Hopefully, I think it'll be sooner rather than later. I'm getting a good feeling about it. But
cool. Yeah, me too. I hope so, for sure. Well, I've about wrapped things up. Thank you for your time, Dev. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us and thinking of us.
Yeah, no problem. And you can find Honey Revenge on pretty much all music streaming platforms. And
Honey Revenge CA, baby. Let's go.
And also you could check out their music video, which may be linked in the bottom. And you could also check out my socials, Underground Experience, which is my YouTube, my Instagram, my playlist. Honey Revenge is on it. And thank you for your time. Have a great day, guys. Bye.